breaking news. Russian President Vladimir Putin expelling 755 American personnel from diplomatic missions in Russia. This move is in response to U.S. sanctions passed by Congress. Joining me now, former Clinton campaign advisor and the executive editor at Share Blue, Jess McIntosh, and MSNBC political analyst and Time columnist Elise Jordan. Jess, let me just start with you right off the top here. What are your reactions to the first on the record comments by Vladimir Putin about the expulsion of these 755 Americans?
Well, it seems like Donald Trump's strategy of continuing to capitulate to Russia and to Vladimir Putin is not working out in the best interests of America. We saw the sanctions bill passed. We don't know why he hasn't signed it yet. It's sitting there on his desk. It was one of the few pieces of bipartisan legislation that passed with an overwhelming majority, and he clearly doesn't want to do it. We saw the way that he behaved at the G20, where he was very preoccupied with making sure that the rest of the world leaders understood that he had a very special, intimate relationship with Vladimir Putin, and he wanted to publicly perform that at that dinner. I haven't seen anybody suggest that that is a worthwhile national strategy, national security strategy for us, and we haven't seen Russia behave in a kinder, friendlier way towards the U.S. since he started making these overtures. So at some point we have to ask why he keeps doing this with Putin. Why the obsession with making Putin like him? Does Putin have something on him? Does he know something? Is he getting something that we're simply not aware of? There's a lot of questions here. Trump's behavior is very bizarre.
Elise, I wanted to ask you, December 29th, I believe, I was on the air from 30 Rock in New York when the United States, President Obama administration, shut down these diplomatic facilities in the United States, the Russian diplomatic facilities. Would this have happened far sooner, what we are seeing today out of Russia, hearing from Vladimir Putin, had President Trump not been the man to walk into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, you know, when President Obama took the two dachas, and he expelled, I believe, around 35 personnel. So you look at this proportionally, and Vladimir Putin has definitely escalated, you know, his response to this sanction bill that is in Congress. That President Trump, I believe, released a statement on Friday saying that he did plan to sign it, which actually surprised me because I was seeing, you know, I had predicted that he would be contrarian on this bill given his, you know, previous deference to Russia. But this, you know, we're seeing yet again, as Jess pointed out, you know, so many administrations come in they enter the scene and they think that they will be the ones to change the relationship with Russia. And yet again, that just simply is not happening.
Earlier this morning, on the ABC network, the deputy foreign minister of Russia discussed these sanctions. Let's take a look at that.
And I think this retaliation is long overdue. After the Senate, the day before yesterday, voted, or rather on the 27th of July, voted so overwhelmingly on a completely weird and unacceptable piece of legislation, it was the last drop. If the U.S. side decides to move further towards further deterioration, we will answer, we will respond in kind.
Jess, how do you expect the Trump administration to respond to all of this, particularly with the ongoing, of course, investigation into collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, both concurrently in Congress and by the special prosecutor?
I mean, Trump has shown no inclination that he is aware of how bad the optics are for him on Russia. So I would expect that he continues to capitulate. Perhaps this move by Putin will make him not sign the bill after he had decided that he was going to sign it. We don't know. And anybody who predicts what Trump is going to do, especially vis-a-vis Russia, is going to be proven silly for having tried to do that. So I'm not going to go too far down that road. He has enough to worry about in his own White House. I'm not even sure that he has the infrastructure in place to make these kinds of important decisions right now. I don't even know who would be pulled into the room or what process and channels those would work by. He might just decide to handle it on his own and announce his decision via Twitter.
Yeah, he very well might. Elise, just we got about 15 seconds left. It's important to reemphasize the president has not yet signed these sanctions, although Vice President Mike Pence, who is traveling overseas, has indicated today that the president is going to be signing them. You know, what do we expect now from Donald Trump, you know, given this latest escalation?
Well, I mean, it would be surprising if he backs down now at this point, because he would be, in a sense, capitulating to Putin. So I think it's going to be hard now that he has said that he plans to sign the bill to back away from that. But as Jess said, I really would never predict Donald Trump's behavior when it comes to Russia.